Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. John 8:44. What is the devil? In modern culture, the devil is clearly defined. He is the slanderer, the whisperer in mankind's ear, tempting us to sin against God, to break the rules by which our betters define good and evil. All evil then springs from him, we are told. From an early age, we learn dichotomy, day and night, the rational and irrational, the healer and the destroyer. On one side, then, we have the Creator, the maker of ineffable plans, who works only for our good. The mysterious and heavenly Father. Yow! My foot! Damn you, Bruce! What have I said about leaving those bricks on the floor? Brian Banner has stepped on a Lego brick. Brian, don't snap at him. It's my house, Rebecca. My son. Bad enough he sneaks everywhere like a rat. He could at least pick up after himself. And will you please stop sniveling? God! What's this even supposed to be? What? Speak up, damn it! Gamma. Of course it is. Science City Gamma. Make or unmake a world of your own with real electronics. Ages 12 and up. 12 and up. An educational tool. Too complex for a child twice your age. And the instructions are still in the box. You think I'm a fool, eh? Do you honestly think I don't know? Brian, please. He's your son. I know exactly what he is. Brian, please. Now look what you've done. Look what you've done to your mother. Before you, she was happy. She was alive before you. You damn disgusting little. Brian froze his drink at Bruce's Lego set, knocking some parts over. You disgusting little monster. I. I'm going to my study. You break all this nonsense apart, you hear me? Mommy? Mommy? Do as your father says, dear. I have to go and think about things. 'Kay. Bruce then picks up the glass of liquor his father spilled on the floor. He furrows his brow, and clenches his teeth. Smash. Smash, smash, smash. And Bruce starts smashing the glass against his Lego set, pieces flying everywhere, breaking the glass on his hand. Against the father is his monstrous enemy, the breaker apart, the force of chaos. Smash! Hulk smash! Hulk, currently emaciated and drained of much of his gamma powers, is smashing against the once red Hulk. God, oh God, Hulk? Hulk smash! Hulk kill everything! Jacqueline winches. God, we have to run, Dad. Don't, don't look him in the eye. Jacqueline's dad points at his hollowed out eyes. Look him in the eye. All right, Dad, because it's you. Jacqueline reaches out to get the Hulk's attention, and the Hulk turns to her. Oh, Hulk, smash. Hulk, just, just stop, please. I need you to stop, okay? Okay, big guy? Hulk, Hulk hurts. All the time hurts. All the time, always. Why? Why Hulk have to hurt so much? Hulk begins to tear up. I I don't know. I'm sorry. The devil Hulk. Can I speak to him, please? Can you let him out for me? Okay. Hulk wipes his tears away. Sorry. The big guy. He mostly is inside these days. But if I really lose it, well, you saw. Yeah, I saw. Actually, I've got another question. Exactly how long have you been in charge? In charge? Of what? Don't play dumb. Banner has dissociative identity disorder. That's an established fact. He might be the most famous case in the world. And you're one of his multiple personalities, his alters, if you like that term. I don't. You're part of his system. Except these days, you seem to be running it. Somebody had to. Not in the day. That's Banner's thing. Yeah? So where is he now? I don't know. But I've got a pretty strong hunch. Let's get moving. Perhaps the earliest naming of an evil force is the Zoroastrian deity, Angra Mainyu, literally the chaotic spirit or destructive mind, that which is defined by opposition to good. In the Zurvanite tradition, Angra Mainyu and Ahura Mazda, the Lord of Creation, are the twin sons of the Zurvan, who is time himself. Angra Mainyu tore free of Time's womb, and thus the firstborn inherited creation for 9,000 years. Perhaps this was the earliest conception of the fall of man, the idea that the world we are born into is tainted, ruled by God's opposite. Interestingly, Angra Mainyu has it in his power to create good works. He simply refuses to. Evil is actively chosen. Perhaps that is what defines the devil in the end. That moment of choice. You you have to understand, Bruce. I was still a young man and your mother, she had once loved me very dearly. Can you understand what that was like for me? To be loved? Brian Banner stands atop the mountain looking down. Bruce Banner in a beam of light, seemingly in pain, crying out behind him. Your grandfather. There is no love in that house. I grew up knowing I was unworthy of it. I never could tell Rebecca. That's why I didn't want children. I thought I might break some spell, of course. The spell broke anyway, didn't it? But still, I was loved and respected, a rising star in the field of radiation research. Gamma radiation. You see now, son? You see how I knew what you were? The theory is simple. The theory is simple. There are times where gamma radiation behaved unpredictably. Outlier results. Minor anomalies. That's all it was back then. I thought there was a secret there. That gamma might sometimes act not as a wave or particle, but as some unknown third form. What form? What would it be? The department heads were skeptical but intrigued. The hypothesis was daring. The early results promising. So promising that one day I stayed long past my regular hours, late into the night, and sometime in that darkness, exhausted from my searching for my great secret, I closed my eyes. For a moment I saw that something I was searching, I saw that something was searching for me. Next morning, I told the department heads they were right. It was nonsense. The respect they had for me never returned. I told myself it was only a dream, but of course that meant nothing. Dreams are binding, and I'd seen what I had seen. A grotesque presence glimpsed through a crack in the door. A nightmare cellar world underneath the floorboards of everything. I had seen its terrible eye, and now nothing could ever be the same. Everything changed. Brian? You're back? Rebecca? Why, why is there champagne? I was going to call you at work, but I wanted it to be a surprise. I'm pregnant, Brian, and I was damned. 9 months later, you were born. A difficult birth. You were all but torn from the womb. Rebecca nearly died. It didn't matter. I'd been replaced. You took the love I had from me. You did that, Bruce. You, and then you killed me, your own father, at your mother's grave in cold blood. No, 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 no. It was, it wasn't you, Bruce. I have to remember that. It was the monster who cast me down to hell. And when I tried to protest the injustice of that monster killed me again, sent me to a further hell, a lower deep, where the thing from my dream was waiting for me here below everything. Creation's secret reflection, faster than we can see or know. It can only influence our world, you see. To work directly, it needs a host personality, a soul it can speak and act through. It had me for that. Oh, but now it has you, my immortal son, heavy with the secret third form of light. You can bring our world to it, through the hole you tore with your bomb, the green door you opened, and you can set me free. There is another devil. In the Old Testament, the book of Job is the first mention of the entity bearing the name Satan. The sun's risen, high noon in hell. He's coming. Meaning accuser or adversary. Not much further, Creel. Want to get over this ridge. Creel and Puck are climbing the mountain. As one of God's angels, Satan is given permission to test Job, God's most pious serpent. I howl through many mouths. A test that destroys all that Job has, all that he is. A test that scours him down to the soul. What, Puck? What is that? Job demanded an answer from God. He demands to know why he was hurt so much. I break with many hands. Eventually, God responds, but he does not speak in human terms. We're too late. They are themselves, but they are also me. A great cloud with a howling mouth and glowing green eyes comes down from the sky in hell down to the mountain where Bruce Banner lies. One hand grasping towards light. The 18th century theosopher Anna Kingsford likewise speaks of Satan as an angel of God. In her writings, he is a strifer of souls, the accuser who brings judgment on all those who fall short. the Angel of Wrath. Jacqueline stares in awe. Oh no, we're too late. This is. Who can fight that? How can we fight that? It's the end. Huh, that creep. He's not the end of the world, McGee. How do you know? He is the keeper of the door who holds the power to cast into hell. And he is the breaker of worlds. Because that's who I am. Fathers and teachers, I ponder. What is hell? I maintain that it is the suffering of being unable to love. Fyodor Dostoevsky. That's a name, guys. Oh, Fyodor Dostoevsky, the brother, the brothers Karamazov. What is the Hulk? We have spoken of the wrath of God and the form that might take. We have spoken of which angels might deliver it. And we have spoken of the tree of life and the 10 spheres, the emanations of the divine. And one of the emanations is called Geburah. This is the emanation of strength and severity, of power and judgment. It is watched over by the archangel Kamael, the burning judge of all evil, and the fiery angels of the seraphim. This is the face that turns away, the fire that burns away evil, burns it to its very root. I have all the power you give me, and my weapon is hate. Out of the green cloud's mouth, out of the great green devil's mouth, hordes of monsters come pouring out like a flood. Yeah, that's all you got, big man? Against me? I'm the Hulk. I'm the Hulk. And this is my house. I'm the Hulk starts wailing on the monsters as one digs its teeth into him. He can't fight that. He needs help. When his back is turned, run that way, responds her father. That's it. Bring us the leftovers, bite by bite. Rick Jones says, Cool it, mister. Nothing can make me rat on the Hulk. As he deforms and grows, and his limbs turn blue and monstrous, as he turns into A-Bomb, or a monstrous version of A-Bomb. There's an idea in science called the theory of everything, the hypothetical master theory, a coherent, unified framework of physics that includes explanations and predicts all phenomena. Science hasn't quite found one yet. Is this a lecture tour, Judd? Keep your voice down. The reason being, Mr. Creel, it's science. It's only half the picture. There is science, but there's also magic, eh? And Gamma's a little bit of both. Puck peeks over the mountain's ridge. Gamma radiation is science. It is measurable, predictable. It has rules until it doesn't. Until it makes Hulks and Sasquatches and leaders. Metaphor, people. Until it's magic. A-Bomb helps the Hulk get monsters off him. And both begin fighting the monsters. When the first Gamma bomb went off, it unleashed forces beyond our control, unified forces. It opened the door deep down into the pit of reality, to the lowest hell, and any high concentration of Gamma, that's a door too, including Gamma people. Drones, Hulk calls out to A-Bomb. Doors that thing up there can reach through, create little zones of influences, communicate, sometimes even take over our physical forms. Yeah, I'll get that. Right? It used you to get the gam out of the Hulk. Guessed the banner half came with it. Might might be where the true power lies, eh? So I handed it the keys to the kingdom. So all this is because of me. Creel, wait, we need a plan. Hey, you. Well, well, the absorbing man. We meet again. Mr. Mask, I remember you let me absorb this rock, and we'll talk. Creel absorbs the hell rock under him, turning his skin into a stony substance. You're Banner's dad, ain't you? Read up on you in the joint. The papers dug up Banner's story back when he got outed. Figured knowing it might help him get the edge on him. You made me sad for the guy, though. See, my old man used to hit me, too, until I beat the living crap out of him. But there's another side to Gebra. A Glipov, which is called Golachop. And now you beat me up. Crusher Creel, the hero at last. Brian's face turns into a monstrous devilish form. The proud fighter of evil. Well, take your shot. Don't do it, Creel. Don't fall for it. Get up, Jones. Get up and fight. No one ever did anything for anything for me before, except you. Where Gebra is the strength and righteousness, Golachab is the strength in destruction. Strength for strength only. A-Bomb's face is torn off. A stranger. Jones! Remember what the TV said. Leave everything behind. Dad, I know he killed you, but they're killing him. They're gonna kill him right in front of us. I don't hate him, Dad. I want to understand. I want him to understand. Strength without pity. Strength without judgment. Creel up on the mountain pauses. Nah, I ain't gonna fight. 'Cause I'd lose. His face starts to melt away. But I know a guy who doesn't. No! No, you can't! You can't take him away from me! Too late, pal. Here comes the main event. Heh, that's my boy, Puck smirks. And the absorbing man tears Bruce Banner away and launches him right into the strength of monsters. Dad, are you watching me, Dad? Are you? You like what you see? Hulk leaps and smashes. Because you're next. No, you're not my son. You never were. Yeah, that your new theory? You're the devil's child, his son. You're the son of the one below all. Look at you, trying to figure me out, learn the rules, and find the secret. You think you ever knew what I was, old man? Here's your special theory, Dad. The only equation you need. Hulk is Hulk. Hulk claps his hands, and the one below all and Brian Banner go flying into the sky, with the one below all dissipating into clouds. To become a creature of hate, to use anger only to create pain, to lose balance. It is all too easy to fall to the Kiplov. Gebra is called the left hand of God, but the right hand is mercy. All the monsters and all the zombie people start fading away. Hulk looks down at Bruce Banner. That bought us maybe a minute. You okay? Listen, Creel gave me my gamma pack. I think I can close the door, bring us home. But if we're not together, we won't live through that. Good. Then let it happen. Finally. Just let it happen. Hulk stares down at Bruce. I know you locked me away for years. I know I scare you. What I do, what I am. But before any others, I was there, protecting you. I'll always protect you. Hulk smiles. 'Cause I love you, you stupid kid. Bruce looks shocked, surprised. Somebody had to. Come on home. Hulk reaches out his hand, and Bruce takes it. And so I ask again, what is the Hulk? What will the Hulk be? The accuser or the adversary? Kamael or Satan? Is he of Gebera or of Golachab? Is he man or monster? What will you become, Bruce Banner of Earth? Who are you? And who am I? I'll speak to you again in due time. What? Who's talking? Walter adjusts his glasses as he begins to get up. Well, 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 Walt Lankowski, back in the land of the living. I was wandering through a desert. I couldn't find any of you. Easy to get lost in a place like that, eh? I'll give you a few lessons on navigation sometime. We're back at Los Diablos. Is it even safe here? Don't know. It's clean. No residual gamma radiation in a mile or more. I'd feel it if they were there. Good enough for me. Good work back there, Mr. Creel. Wanna stick with Gamma Flight? We could maybe arrange something. Yeah? Could I bring my wife in on it? Well, technically, I'm in charge of. Why not? Although, I guess I should ask Jackie how she's writing this up. I. I don't know. I, what I saw down there, my dad. I need time to process that. Well, we could. On my own time, Walter. Don't worry, I'm not sending anyone back to jail. I don't know who'd believe all that anyway. But there is a story here. Everyone who you know went to hell is right here. Except for one man. Where is he? Where did Bruce Banner go? The agent, looking down his scope from a distance, answers. Good question, Miss McGee. Very good question. It's nighttime in California. And a phone is ringing. Elizabeth Ross answers the phone. Hello? Hello, who is this? Look, it's nearly midnight. If you don't say something, I'm hanging up. Betty? I need to come home. Where are you calling from? Love never dies a natural death. Anais Nin, the four-chambered heart. His third gravestone was at West Point. The first was at a family plot in New Hampshire. That funeral had been a chaotic affair. The body was already stolen. The few who attended were disturbed by their own private dramas. It was quickly forgotten, but the stone remained. The second had been in Arlington until it was quietly removed. A more prestigious ceremony, flowery speeches by great and costumed, and all a lie. A show of unseen enemies, a game of plot and counterplot. To bury him again there would be embarrassment. He was a traitor, after all. He didn't conspired with America's enemies, and more than once. But he died an ex-avenger, a servant of the government, an establishment figure, pardoned and forgiven, worried of hero's grave amongst his peers. Hence, West Point. Betty wondered which one they really thought they were burying that day, the hero or the monster. Or was he both? Betty Ross stares at the grave of General Thaddeus E. Thunderbolt Ross, Lieutenant General of the United States Air Force, 1962 to 2019, USMA class of 1983. To fight the unbeatable foe, to reach the unreachable star. There are speeches again, not as many as last time. There's a much smaller, tighter ceremony, invitees only. Once again, Steve Rogers wasn't there. In his place, Tony Stark represented the costume heroes her father had worked with. General Ross was a complicated man. We had our differences, but he will be remembered as an avenger in good. His eyes kept flicking to the coffin, as if something might burst out of it at any moment. Twice bitten, 3 times shy. But then death wasn't what it used to be. All I have prepared, I'm afraid. Would anyone else like to speak? Betty knew that better than most. Anyone? Actually, I have something to say. Betty scowled as he looked at Reginald Fordian. I worked with the general for many years. Back at Project Greenskin, or Gamma Base as it became known. I knew him well. In many ways, he looked at Betty. He was a father to me. They both scowled at each other. General Thaddeus Ross taught me many things. To carry myself with authority, to have confidence in my abilities, to assert myself when the world seemed against me. And most of all, he taught me to stand against monsters. There will be no quarter with those forces of chaos that wish to upend the status quo. There will be no harboring of them in our homes or in our hearts. No consorting with the enemy. Little present from our friends in the government. The last remains of, what are we calling him now? Subject B. We're in a shadow-based lab now. The contact said we shouldn't reach out to him again, though. Not surprised. That thing with Stearns and Cortez caused out a lot of goodwill. Besides, the whole point of shadow base moving to its secondary sites was to sever ties, maximize deniability. How much is in here? Looks like about 100 pounds. Not much. Well, apparently the rest of it's orbiting Jupiter after the last time attempt to rebuild him. Still, even that much should be enough to jumpstart things. The hard part, well, that's what it always is. Looking at ourselves in the mirror. Hast thou an arm like God? Or canst thou thunder with a voice like him? Deck thyself now with majesty and excellency, and array thyself with glory and beauty. The priest says, Cast abroad the rage of thy wrath, and behold every one that is proud and brazen. It is raining at the funeral as two soldiers put the flag on the casket. They shouldn't do that. Look on everyone that is proud and bring him low. Tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together and bind their faces in secret. Then I will also confess unto thee that thy own right hand can save thee. They shouldn't have it out like that in the rain, like, doesn't he know? You know that guy, Betty? We've met. Oof, Carol's gonna be pissed she wasn't invited. I think she wanted to talk to Freudian about, well, that whole business with Bruce. Betty, I know this isn't the best time, but we're on your side, okay? What happened in Iowa was a mess, and if Bruce had just kept his head, we could have worked it out. The Avengers aren't bad guys here. Look, we're out with the government ourselves right now. We only want what's best. Bruce can't run forever, not even with the Hulk on his side. He needs to come in. Hmm. I can give you a ride home at least. I got a plane at La Guardia. It actually turns into a robot. Call it Starscream. You've also got a flying death ray that blew up a town, Mr. Stark. I'll fly coach. Betty flew coach and gave her a few hours to think over the Freudian situation. Obviously, he knew about Bruce's phone call. There aren't any bugs in the house. She checked, and her line was clean, which meant he had other methods. They'd fought back when she was Red Hulk. Red She-Hulk. Obviously, he bore a grudge. And he had a close relationship with her father. And she had it, not really. The last time she ever saw his face was through prison glass. He'd call her sometimes from the White House. Come visit before I'm in jail again, he'd say. But she never did. Now he's dead. And she just couldn't make it seem real. He'd been dead before, after all. So had she. So had her husband, Bruce. Betty, I'm sorry about your father. I'm sorry I took so long to call. He said as if that made it okay. And so long to actually get here. You wouldn't believe what I've been through since we talked for months. She thought he was dead. Really dead. Months of sightings and false hopes and grief. And he'd let her go on, thinking that he'd let her. Betty walks towards Bruce, a scowl on her face. Bruce holds out a hand, and they kiss. Part of her wanted to slap him. We're not safe. Get inside the house. Good news and bad news, General. I've reached the location the monitor team specified, and I'm in position. There's no clear shot. Permission to put one through Miss Banner's back and finish this. That's a negative, Mr. Agent Burbank. I thought the friends of the Hulk were enemy collaborators, General. I buried her father today, Burbank. That man made a great deal to me. I won't send his daughter to join him unless I have to. You weren't there. You didn't see where that monster took us. Request denied, I said. Monitor 5, sync to my screen. On to see and hear everything. Monitor 5, General, we have a problem. Betty had taken precautions. She already had one of her old uniforms on under her clothes. They were bulletproof. It seemed practical, and she'd single a friend to come over. Bruce wouldn't take it well, she knew, but there was safety in numbers. Finally, she activated the statue. Betty Ross places a strange idol next to a flower. Its concentrated icon blocks all psychic and remote viewers, a little leftover from my time over at the Order of the Shield. I save it for when I need it. That's a secret society you're in with, isn't it? The one who ordered my death? Ran. Past tense. The Order doesn't return my calls now that I'm only human. And you managed to plan your own death without any help, only it didn't take, did it? Betty. I cried over you, Bruce. I didn't cry over my father, but I cried over you. I wonder, was that because I thought you were dead? Or because I knew you were alive? I got him on thermal imaging, General. Hard to tell who's who. Still, 50-50 chance. And that monster who took me to hell. Agent Burbank, do not fire. Betty, I know, I should have called someone, but I wasn't ready. It's like I knew in my gut I couldn't face it. I listened to trust feelings like that to protect me, but something happened before I called you. And it just broke me open. Betty tore me in half. I didn't have my protection anymore and everything. I'd been numbing it just. Rick Torrance is dead, and he didn't come back. He's gone. I can't believe Rick's really gone. You really should believe it, Bruce, she thought. Because the Hulk met up with the scum who killed him and joined their team. Want to tell me what that was about? But she only thought it. He cheated on her, broken her heart and her life a dozen ways, and when she thought she'd become his equal, the Red She-Hulk, he'd taken that away from her too, for her own good. Him and Rick. Even that wasn't tainted. Even that was tainted. Yippity-doo, cats got the flu. Agent hand. The agent closes in on a heat signature, but still there he stood, an open wound in the shape of a man, a beaten dog, and she just couldn't do it. She could never do it. Never hurt him, even with the truth. Dog's got the chicken pox. Agent Burbank, stand down. That's an order. The sun's gone down. Her father had called him a milksop. She'd loved that vulnerability, but now it seemed somehow as managed as the rage that smashed shitties and left no body count. Betty, I'm really sorry. As carefully calculated in that moment, she knew why her father had hated him. Bruce, I'm sorry, but I. In a moment, a bullet goes through Betty's skull, and she goes on the ground in front of Bruce. Oops, General? Uh, I hit the wrong one. I can take him. It'll be a rush, swapping out for 1,000 cal. Stand by. Hulk bursts through the cabin's walls. And Agent Burbank turns his hand into another gun as Hulk rages towards him. Come on, I can take you, green freak. It'll be a rush. You're going straight back down to hell tonight. Remember the protocol. Stun and run. I can tape it. It's night, you damn fool. Were you asleep during retraining? Unless the sun is up, he doesn't die. None of them die. I can take him. And Hulk grabs his. Reaches out and grabs, and then something pulls on the agent's back and throws him away. I've got it from here. Betty called. Bruce said he might be in trouble. Now, you've obviously had a setback, but if you can try to stay calm, we'll all get through this. Trust me. I'm your doctor. Try to stay calm. You'll never live if you're looking for the meaning of life. Albert Camus, Intuitions. Dying was a simple, perfect moment. MODOK and the leader had split my personality into warring factions, bringing out my darkest impulses. Under the control, I betrayed, manipulated, even murdered my oldest friends. But when the end came, I played the hero one more time. Doc Samson sacrificed himself to save the world from evil. Bruce, one last thing from your doc. I believe in you. As Samson disintegrates into bones. Under the circumstances, I died the best I could. You've got an epilogue, a dreamlike finale adventure against the King of Chaos for the fate of the world. A triumphant farewell before the darkness. And in the darkness I waited for what would come next. But when the door opened, it led me back to where I'd been. Suddenly, magically alive again, as if nothing had ever changed. Samson digs himself out of his own grave. Lordy! Sorry to startle you. Do you have a phone I can use? And I had no idea why. S.H.I.E.L.D. wanted to know why, too. We thought we might be the leader again, but the test showed I was free of his influence, as much as his victim as those I'd hurt, apparently. I was happy to believe that, but still nobody could answer the larger questions. Well, maybe you weren't dead all the way. Sometimes that happens with you heroes, Nick Fury says. I suppose. Was I alive again? What was the meaning of this? It tormented me. I didn't tell anyone I was back at first. S.H.I.E.L.D. knew, obviously. Tony Stark, Carol Danvers, Bucky Barnes, of all people. But I never made the calls to my friends. I didn't call Rick, or Betty, or Bruce. I was in a fragile place. He was in a fragile place. Amadeus Cho had drained Bruce's gamma energy, curing him. He became the Hulk in Bruce's place. Bruce's reaction. It was strange. Tony said he seemed fine, but I debated going to see him, confronting him the way nobody else wanted to. But I remembered my young. The analyst's hands must be as clean as the surgeon's. The doctor's-patient relationship is a mutual journey, where each affects the other. And what was I now? Not a healer, a dead man, groping for a world suddenly without light, searching for a single flickering flame to approach my most volatile patient while I was so unsure of myself, of everything? It was unspeakable. We interrupt this program for some breaking news. And then it was too late. Bruce was dead. But still I couldn't show my face. Not until the second death. Betty? Samson! You know who I work with now. If this is some trick of Modoc's, it's not. Shield ran tests. I'm myself again, Betty. I was staying away, but and I heard about Rick. Do you want coffee? There was no attraction left between us, if there ever had been. Just mutual exhaustion, the need for a friend, someone who understood. That shared uneasy knowledge that there was a time where you were gone, but now you're back again, and you don't know why. When the Hulk sightings began, Betty wouldn't believe it. Not so much that Bruce was alive, but that he wouldn't call, that he chose to hide from her. But I knew how easy it was to hide. Doc Samson takes off his glasses, one eye bloody and his nose bleeding. He spits out some blood, takes off his coat. All right, Bruce. Let's reason this out, shall we? I wanted to believe. He'll know. I thought if anyone will, he will. He'll know why we're all still here. Hulk has a bullet through his brain, but he's still moving. Samson leaps on top of his arm. You know, there's an irony here. I'm trying to reach your mind, but it's to grow back first, doesn't it? Whatever that cyborg assassin shot you with. And I notice he hasn't stuck around to thank me for saving his life. This is Agent Burbank calling Shadow Base. Get me the hell out of here. Burbank runs through the woods as Samson continues his fight with the Hulk. It's made the therapeutic approach somewhat irrelevant. And Samson keeps on dodging Hulk's punches. Smash! Smash! Smash. The word is smash, Hulk. You're the Hulk and you smash. Try to remember. Then maybe you'll remember I'm your friend. I'm on your... Hulk reaches and grabs his arm and starts smashing Samson from one side to the other, and then starts pummeling his face. Hulk smash, green hair. Samson, Leonard Samson, you know me, I'm your therapist. You're acting out, Hulk. You're smarter than this. Samson. That's it. Remember who you are, where you are. Betty's place. Where's Betty's, Hulk? Betty. Betty the Plastic Man. He hurt Betty. What? Hulk has to go back in now. Hulk, tell me. Tell me what happened, so help me. She got shot, that's what happened. To the head. Sniper fire from your cyborg. The one you stopped me from taking apart. Happy? Betty's dead. Betty's not dead. She's not here. My guess is that she went that way while we were busy. Samson and Hulk look over a pool of blood. Betty is missing. I knew seeing her was a bad idea. What is your relationship with him these days? I hear stories. We don't talk, not in words. You know how crazy Banner's life was, Samson. It got worse while you were gone. Nobody saw. Nobody wanted to. But he was so broken, he set up his own murder. And all that did was break him more. There was a Hulk that came out to work for Hydra, you know all that? Just a big ball of rage and nothing else. A wordless thing that didn't care who it hurt. And it didn't see people at all. Dear God. Your worst nightmare, right? Relax. I took care of it. That thing's in pieces, locked away where I used to be. Long as I'm around, he's never getting out. First thing I did when Banner let me loose, somebody had to take charge. And that's you? Which Hulk are you? He needed a dad, or something. Something like a dad. Like a dad who loved him. But he didn't know what love was. I can't be out in the day. I don't come out unless I have to. Unless somebody hurts him. And then I take it personal. What is this anyway? A couch session? Maybe. Just to talk about being let loose and lock away. Bruce mentioned a persona like that once, a Hulk he had actively locked away in his mind. A devil Hulk. A demonic, satanic personality that he kept caged inside him. Bruce, at his angriest, at his most inhuman and merciless. A visualization is shown of Bruce standing in front of a scaly, almost lizard-like Hulk. My darling little boy. Break my chains, darling boy. Set me free, and I will destroy it all, and all for you. A Hulk who, if ever got out, would be the end of the world. Tony told me about when you fought him, the name you responded to. You're the Devil Hulk? What, you only just figured that out? Come on, if you're coming, we've got somewhere to be. They both leap into the air. You're a shrink, Samson. But you know about projection. Deep down inside, he's still that kid. A little kid who can't imagine love without pain. He got scared of me, what it was, what I brought out of him. Figured he couldn't listen to me. Suddenly I'm a big snake guy and everything I say comes out creepy. I blame Sunday school. Well, I still got questions, Hulk. There are things I need to know. But I'm glad you're not here to, well, end the world. That's exactly what I'm here to do, Samson. The human world needs to go. Let's start with the nukes. The president can end all life in minutes, and the whole system designed to make it that easy. Can't have anything let get in the way of Armageddon, right? You know how close we'd come to over a radar glitch? 'Cause those days are back. Check your phone. Maybe it's happening now. Or maybe it won't even matter. The planet's already it's already boiling to death. Wildfires, hurricanes, whole chunks of the food chain dying off. Every time you hear about it, it's worse. Less time, less hope. But the humans still charge in, pretend they don't even believe it. Because if they did, it'd mean they'd been wrong, and humans are too weak to ever admit that, too puny. You wonder why I'm angry? You know why I want to end the human world, Samson? Because if I do it, maybe some of them will live. Oof. So essentially you're saying is, you're the Green Hulk. You think this is funny? I think seeing a larger picture is a step forward for you, but I'm concerned about how you're... Shut up, Samson. We've arrived. They both land. Here? But this is where... You think Betty's come here? Who said anything about Betty? We're not looking for Betty, Samson. She shrugs up a bullet for the brain. She can take care of herself. What, Hulk? We don't know that. We don't even know if she's alive. I do. And so do you. Think about it. Banner watched you die, and here you are, large as life, part of the club, Samson, just like Betty. You, and her, and me, and him. Oh, they they look over a grave. So why does this keep happening to us, Hulk? Why are we all still here? Don't ask me. They stand over the grave of Rick Jones, our friend, and the grave is empty. Darkness. And that is the end of the first omnibus for Immortal Hulk. Or I guess it's more of like a complete collection. There's 3 of these. That's the first one done. Hope you've all enjoyed Immortal Hulk. Until tomorrow, where I am going to reveal a new PNG model. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. And happy Halloween!